While the FAA expected the St. George runway to last 20 years, it's now being replaced after only 8. The unforeseen problem was expansion of blue clay soils.
The problem was blue clay and caused the runway to ripple, basically to get moguls in it. And moguls and airplanes, as we know, don't mix.
Blue clay is predominantly found in Utah's southern region. It's composed of smaller bentonite soils deposited by prehistoric rivers and lakes derived from volcanic ash, thus a blue-gray color. Although precautions were taken when the runway was originally built, when water and heat was added, it quickly absorbed and expanded, resulting in movement.
What they didn't realize was that as that water would come off, it would actually go down, and then that hot asphalt acted like a moisture sink and pulls moisture underneath the asphalt. Once it's underneath the asphalt, it has no place to go. So it just settles into the blue clay, and that caused the problem.
Runway construction crews are now digging 17 feet below the surface, taking out the bad soils and replacing them with the good.
So as you can see, they've gone down 17 feet, and they're actually starting to bring in the clay there, the optimally moisturized clay that they'll use for the first 5 feet to act as a plug. And then over here you can see they're bringing in native material that will actually come up another 12 feet. And then once that is done, then they'll put in a membrane and then additional material, and then natural material comes up the last foot and a half, 18 inches. So,
with 5,400 feet of runway to replace, excavation crews are working on 1,000-foot sections at a time. Soils are being taken out and dumped at the end of the runway, while new soil is stockpiled for replacement. By constantly compacting the soil after it is laid down, construction crews are making sure the clay soils are fully expanded before being added to the mixture.
Blue clay runs all the way down to several hundred feet below the surface. Obviously we can't take it all out. So that 17 foot of excavation, basically what that is getting 17 feet, that's geological pressure on top of the blue clay will keep it from moving an inch or less.
Using a GPS-driven system, the Geotech crews are in constant radio communication with the construction crews and are able to pick up any hazards or problems along the way.
So when you look at the way the compact of this soil is being placed and all the processes that are going through it, that they feel quite confident that this is going to work. This is a good fix.
The new fix actually has the drain lines that actually drain the material right off the edge of the runway and take it out to the V-ditches underground. So that should fix that problem too.
Crews are running 5 days a week, 24 hours a day on the reconstruction of the St. George Regional Airport runway. The airport has been shut down for about 2 weeks. So far, they are right on schedule.
They work, like I say, they have 2 shifts. The morning shift starts at 6 o'clock in the morning, goes to 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and the next shift goes from 6 o'clock at night to 5 o'clock in the morning. And that starts on Sunday night at 6 and goes to Friday at 5. And then they have off for the weekend.
While it may be inconvenient for travelers during the summer months, it was the best time for the reconstruction.
May's a big month. October's a big month, and so they want to make sure we're open during those 2 times. So that's why we picked the summer months to do it.
The TSA, or Transportation Safety Administration, sent their people on to other locations, as did the airlines that operate inside this airport, which include SkyWest Airlines, Delta, United, American, and Allegiant. At a cost of around $26 million, about half of that comes from airport improvement funds and travelers, and the rest is funded by the federal government.
120-day project. Cost was right around $26 million. 12.7 of that comes from the AIP funds, which is the airport improvement funds. And that money is funded by the airlines. So when people fly or buy fuel on the airlines buy fuel, or they fly on the airlines, that's where that money comes from. The other $11.1 million came from President Trump's infrastructure funds, and then about $2.3 million came from passenger facility charges, which we collect $4.50 every passenger that flies out of our airport.
The airport will also resurface the airport parking lot during the closure. Using an estimated 50 pieces of equipment at any one time, crews will continue to move about 300 million yards of dirt during this process, one giant shovelful or dump truck full at a time. And barring any other unforeseen problems, crews shouldn't need to rebuild this runway for another 20 years.
I just think that the public should be quite confident and have good feelings about what's taking place here.
But I promise that when we open back up in September, end of September, it'll be a great, nice, smooth, flat runway for you, and we'll have additional service to Dallas-Fort Worth. So come back.
From the St. George Regional Airport, Melissa Anderson, Community Education News.